They say me, no rush, I'm where I should be. Turn the noise down, see me shining. Low-key thriving, low-key thriving.
When was the last time you actually paused and clapped for yourself? Not posted it, not waited for somebody to notice, but really sat in a moment and said, I did that. Because if we're being honest, a lot of us are out here blooming in silence and second guessing ourselves at the same time. Hi, I'm Mel G, and I'm not a guru, I'm not a coach, and definitely not licensed to give you anything except for advice. I'm your host and real human experiencing life the same way you are. I've decided that I no longer want to just survive my time on this blue rock, but I want to thrive through my experience. That means the good, the bad, and the real. This month is all about blooming, and blooming doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it looks like outgrowing people. Sometimes it looks like choosing yourself, and sometimes it looks like clapping for yourself in a room where nobody else is. Okay, so let's get down to it. Why do we struggle to clap for ourselves? Now, I'm going to keep it 100. We were taught and we are conditioned, and I'm especially talking to women out there, but it happens to men too, okay? It happens to everybody. But we are taught and conditioned to be humble all the time. But at what point do we have to stop being humble to the point that we're invisible? Now that sounds crazy. Yes, I know. It sounds wild to say that. But I remember growing up and always being like, oh, be humble when you have that win, when you meet your goals, be humble about it. We don't talk about it. Just know that you're doing great. You get a pat on the back, you get your 5 stars, whatever. But sometimes we are so humble to the point where we become invisible, to the point where I feel like we're not giving enough gratitude to maybe that goal we met, maybe that promotion you got, maybe getting, those 5 stars when you're driving, graded driver. I don't know. But we were conditioned from, I think, like birth to be humble, right? I can think of all the time, and I see it now, especially as I'm getting older and my nieces and nephews are having kids and my friends still have young babies. We clap for them all the time. We congratulate them. And then they start to mimic that, like, yay, I did something good. We reward them with a clap for good behavior. And then we start to notice they clap for themselves. The baby grabs onto the gate and stands up on their own, or is standing up in the playpen and they're doing amazing. And then we start seeing them clap for themselves, or when they're happy, they're clapping. So there's like that reward trigger system happening. They visually see somebody clapping their hands together. They audibly hear the sound of a clap, right? They know I'm doing something amazing. Now, as we get older, For some reason, we are taught to not clap for ourselves. It's almost like going in reverse. Somehow we say, oh, you got to tone it down a little bit. You got to be a little bit more humble. It's not fair to others, or it could be considered like bragging or gloating. And sometimes we get to the point where we just stop doing it and we kind of fade into the background, or maybe people don't notice the accomplishments, or you don't even notice your own accomplishments. And I low-key have a problem with that. We shouldn't be hiding, or we shouldn't feel terrible for rewarding ourselves audibly and visually. So clap for your damn self, okay? And clap when you're in a room by yourself. Yes, you were still doing things. You were still standing up when you've fallen. Somebody's not going to see you and clap for you. And I think it's funny, like going back to like thinking about babies. Have you ever noticed that when you clap for a baby, a child, toddler, whatever, they get so excited, get so happy that they start to clap for themselves. I'm getting rewarded. Somebody's noticing that I did something good. Now, take that same scenario, same baby, whatever. They fall on their butt, they fall on their face, fall down the stairs. I hope that doesn't happen to anybody. But take that and just imagine we get that shocked face or, oh my gosh, and we say something, and visually the baby sees, oh no, they've got this panic look on their face. They made this horrible sound. I must be doing something horrible. And then they react by crying or having a tantrum or being shocked themselves. They're having the same reaction we have. So it's that like feedback. And then maybe they're scared to stand up again on their own, or they're scared to take those first steps again. So we kind of see what happens when we have these outside reactions to what we're doing. And as, again, we grow, those reactions stick with us. We know audibly and visually if somebody makes a bad sound or a bad face, we know we aren't doing the best, and then we kind of beat down on ourselves. Maybe. I know I do for sure. So we're just like got into this conditioning where we have to be so humble that sometimes our achievements become invisible. So I think low key, like we need to work on that. And something else that comes along with those paths, like not only are we taught to be humble, but we are also taught that we need to celebrate others loudly, but downplay our own wins. Yes, I said that. And maybe a hot take. I love clapping for other people. I will always fix your crown. I will always help you out. I will advocate. I will do whatever I can in my power because that's just the type of person I am. But then I realize I celebrate others a lot, but then I like downplay my own wins all the time. And I see it with friends and people too. Well, they're hyping me up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm for it, right? Ego boost. I'm feeling great. And I'm like, yeah, girl, keep it going. Yes, sir. Like, that's me. Yep. I'm the golden child. But then I realize when they start to talk about their own wins, they tend to not celebrate the same way they celebrated me. And that makes me feel terrible. You should be able to hype yourself up, to celebrate your wins, to be all about it. You should be able to celebrate yourself out loud, just like you would your peers, your coworkers, your child. And that's okay. Even if the victory is something super small, you got that load of laundry done today that's been sitting there for 3 weeks. Hell yes. You better celebrate that. You better clap for yourself and don't downplay it. To some people in the world, right? Getting that laundry done is no big deal. But for somebody like me who has undiagnosed ADHD, would rather be doing something else, has 3 kids that are like very active in life, sometimes just wants to spend time with family. There's a lot going on. So you bet your tush that I'm going to celebrate, and I'm definitely not going to downplay getting that laundry done because I hate doing laundry. Can I get an amen for anybody else out there that's just Like, heck yeah, I don't like doing laundry. To some people, it's very therapeutic. To your girl, it is not, okay? And it doesn't help when I'm like watching shows. I'm currently like rewatching. I've never watched Game of Thrones, and my husband was like, "You need to watch Game of Thrones." So that's been like my homework is to watch Game of Thrones. I'm on season 7, like episode 1 now. I've really been binging. But I tend to like try and do laundry while watching Game of Thrones. And then I get like really distracted because you really have to pay attention in this show. And I'm not talking about the spicy things, but like there's a lot going on in every episode. There's like 20 things. And again, for your girl with undiagnosed ADHD, I'm like, what? Who? Cersei? Winter's coming? Is it winter, or does that mean war? And like, you like really have to pay attention to the words, the characters, the castles, the plot twist. And I mean, we're in a different kingdom, land. There's 7 of them. There's dragons. There's zombies. I would say spoiler alert, but it's been out there for a while. Anyways, girl, I'm getting off track here. So I get distracted and then I wind up like not doing laundry, and then it just kind of like it's clean clothes but sits in a basket, and then we're digging through things, and then I wind up having to redo all the darn laundry. Yeah, I don't celebrate the fact that I got that laundry done, or I got the whole basket put away and where it belongs and where it's supposed to go to. I don't hype myself up as somebody that would be like, come into my house and be like, girl, you finally got all that laundry done. You go, girl, blah, blah, blah. I could never do this. And so, yeah, I tend to give myself a guilt trip when I don't meet my goals or expectations. I don't clap for myself. We don't clap for ourselves. And I think it's time to change that. Now, I'm not saying, don't celebrate others and forget about it. I think we should still clap for each other, celebrate for each other, be loud about each other's wins and victories, but don't downplay your own. Celebrate too. And in conversations, if they're your real friends, they're going to let you celebrate those wins out loud too, okay? Surround yourself with people who allow you to celebrate your wins loudly. Now, another thing for keeping it super real about the struggle for clapping for ourselves is waiting for that validation, and that keeps us stuck. Yes, you heard me right. The same way with the baby. If they don't see somebody clapping for them, rewarding them, giving them that audio and visual feedback, you may notice it may take said baby longer to start walking. I've had 3 kids, right? I've been through it. And this sounds terrible, but as we go down, kid number 1, we're all about it. We're gung ho. We're clapping. We're celebrating every little thing she does. Okay. Every tiny thing. Cecilia girl, like it is her world. We're all just living in it. Like we celebrated absolutely everything. Every tiny little fart, okay? We celebrated it. Baby number 2 comes along. Poor Everly, right? We still celebrated her, did the things, clapped for her, but now we've got 2, and we start noticing Everly notice when we clap for Cecilia, not her so much. And even so now, as they're like 8 and 12, it's very noticeable, right? Somebody gets jealous and somebody doesn't want to move on. And then we're kind of stuck in this weird loop where we need to spread and divide time and make sure we're celebrating everybody equally. Now, when it comes to the fact of I'm talking about, validation or waiting for validation means you're going to be staying stuck. I noticed that like Everly won't move on to the next step until she's validated, until we've said, hey, baby girl, you're doing a great job. And it kind of got worse with 3rd child, right? Like, oh, yeah, you're walking. Congrats, girl. Poor Luna Lavelle. We're just like, oh, awesome. You walked. Your other 2 sisters did it, at a younger age or whatever. And we noticed like each kid, it took them like maybe a little bit longer than the other one, the first one. I mean, Cecilia, I think like before her first birthday, she was kind of taking her first steps. Everly was a little bit after her first birthday, and then Luna was a little bit longer than that. So that's what I'm saying. I break it down and I use babies because that's been my life for the past 12 years. And good examples of that. Real basic human level examples of how if we wait for validation, we can get stuck. Now, take this into the corporate world, right? You're a working girly, you're a working dude, and you wait for validation all the time. Do you think you're getting promoted faster? No. The guy in the cube across from you who has been clapping for himself and who is just like zooming past all the things, he's getting those promotions. He's not staying stuck in this waiting for validation like cycle. The boss is noticing, he's taking initiative, and he's clapping for himself, and he's taking those victories, and he's moving on to the next phase. He's evolving. He's not staying stuck. So that's just another example. We have to learn that our own validation is just fine. And again, that just comes out of getting of habits of being the way we've conditioned. Like I said, somewhere along history, we realized or we are conditioned to believe that we can't trust ourselves. We can't believe what we say. Some of y'all are really great at it, and that's great. Some of us have really mastered celebrating everybody else and minimizing ourselves like it's a personality trait, okay? And that speaks volumes. So I hope we can learn, like, honestly, it is a struggle, but also it's something like doable. We can do it. If you've ever wondered where I record some of my favorite low-key thriving moments, let me put you on real quick. There's this spot called 506, and when I say it's a vibe, I mean it. They've got everything from the creative workspaces to this iconic Airstream that is perfect for recording, brainstorming, or just getting in your zone. It's one of those places that make you feel productive the second you walk in, but still relaxed enough to actually enjoy the process. So if you're a creator, entrepreneur, or just need a space to lock in, go check them out. Book a day pass and see it for yourself. Trust me, it's low-key where the magic happens. So, what does clapping for yourself actually means if we get down to it? It's self-recognition, it's emotional sufficiency, and it's saying, I see me before the world does. Clapping for yourself isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most grounded in who you are. Now that was deep. I cut a little bit deep there when I was thinking about this. It's really about knowing yourself, recognizing yourself. And for somebody like me who has a hard time of celebrating little wins, like I said, celebrating the fact that I did laundry, I like to think that it took me 3 weeks to get me here, and I don't give myself the recognition of saying, hey, I at least got it done. It's not sitting there anymore. I tend to dwell on the negative. So we have to give ourselves recognition for meeting our goals, our accomplishments, our dreams, even if it's the tiniest thing, like getting rid of the laundry that's been there for 3 weeks. Even if it's you've pulled up on the playpen and now you're standing up on your own. You don't need mommy and daddy to clap for you. I don't need my kids to say thank you. I don't need my husband to give me a pat on the back. I just need to recognize that I stood up, I got the laundry done, I'm achieving things, even if it's the tiniest of things. Celebrate it, recognize it. Now, emotionally, we have to be self-sufficient. Like I said, as a baby, we crawl around, we're waiting for somebody. If somebody doesn't clap for us, we throw that tantrum. Girl, it doesn't go away. Don't lie to yourself. If you realize somebody didn't clap for you, somebody wasn't excited you got that promotion, your group chat wasn't celebrating the fact that you did laundry, and now you're in a spiral. Why didn't they celebrate my win? Why didn't they celebrate my promotion? Why didn't they celebrate the fact that I stood up on my own on this playpen and it's taking a lot and my legs are wobbly and I'm tired? Like, that was a struggle. And you want somebody to recognize that you've went through this struggle, but we tend to downplay ourselves, be tough on ourselves, or say we didn't do enough especially emotionally, it beats on us, it wears on us. But why? And I think it, again, comes down to society, what we see on the internet. We see everybody else celebrating everybody else. Or maybe you're the one always celebrating everybody else and it's not always reciprocated. So it's really hard. The emotional self-sufficiency part, I think, is just something you're going to have to do over time. I know it's something I have to do over time. Sitting with myself, meditation has helped. Sitting in silence has helped. You know, it's really getting to know yourself. And it really is saying, I see me. And you have to see yourself before you can step out your front door, move on from the bathroom mirror. You've got to recognize yourself. You've got to recognize your triggers, your emotional state, your wins. You've really got to be grounded with who you are. Know your roots and be okay with it. And that takes time. You are listening to the most impatient person, I think, on the planet. I want everything done now. I'm on my weight loss journey, but I want to lose like 30 pounds tomorrow. I completely know it's not possible to lose 30 pounds in one day. I mean, if it is, it's definitely not a healthy way. But I realize a goal like that is going to take time. Now, I have lost close to 30 pounds, and your girl is yo-yoing, okay? But I have a lot of times, not clapped for myself. I lost the 30 pounds thanks to GLP-1s, thanks to everything going on in the state of the world. I can no longer be on my GLP-1s because my insurance doesn't cover it, although I am somebody who is very much qualified for it. And I'm not paying thousands of dollars for medication. I've been really trying it the hard way, diet, exercise, healthy lifestyle. But I've gained like 20 pounds back after losing close to 40 pounds, right? So I'm kind of like in this limbo. But I really want it done tomorrow. Like, if I could afford surgery and just get it over and done with, I like the easy route. But then I'll also complain about the pain. Anyways, where I'm getting at with this is, I'm getting tongue-tied. I have really had to recognize that this is going to take time. It took me about a year, even on the GLP-1s, to really get down to half my goal weight, right? It really took time. I wanted to do it slow burn style, and I really wanted to take time for the emotional part of the weight loss because it was a big journey for me. Having 3 kids, my body looks different, hormone changes, right? All that fun stuff is going on as you get into your late 30s. So I've had to really recognize that it's going to take time. I've had to think about what's realistically going to work for my body. So I've had to recognize that in my physical self. The emotional self-sufficiency part is really relying on myself to be able to handle these changes. The comments people give back, and some of them were really great. You've lost a lot of weight. You look amazing. But then I'd also be like, oh, so you didn't think I looked great 50 pounds heavier? But that's, the ego. And emotionally, I had to reflect on what I was saying to myself and what people were saying to me. And I think what I realized, and this comes back to me typing up this episode, was I see me. I see my struggles. I see my wins. I saw where I came from and where I'm at now and where I want to be. I can see it. I can see it for myself, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm not where I want to be right now, but I can tell you I'm at the point where I recognize when I need to work out a little bit more, when I need to, pull a little bit more weight, when I need to do a little more cardio, right? Like, I shouldn't be going to cheer competitions and having to walk all these stairs and being completely out of breath. Like, I recognize these things in myself, and I validate myself by achieving those little goals. I hit the treadmill for 20 minutes today. That's like one of my goals, 20 minutes of exercise a day, 20 minutes of something every day. So I recognize that in myself, and it's very healthy, and I celebrate those wins. I journal it at the end of the day, check it off on my calendar, right? My digital notebook. I check it off, and that's enough for me. And that's like my emotional win. It's a physical win. So again, it's clapping for yourself and being the loudest in the room, but it's also about being grounded in who I am at my core. And again, you kind of heard me touch in there a little bit. It's really about showing up when doubt is the loudest. Now, these are the hard parts. The self-doubt, people not supporting you, and feeling misunderstood. There will be seasons where people don't get you, and you still have to get up and choose yourself anyway. That is, I think, the hardest part. Now, self-doubt. I said it earlier. I will always look at the glass. Okay, there's not enough in the glass. I need to fill it up. I don't know if I want somebody else to fill it up for me. I don't know if I just need to go to the drink station and do it myself. I don't know if I just want to drink the rest of it, but there's always self-doubt. There's always, I'm not doing enough. There's always comparison, especially when it comes to social media. Like, dang, we have some of the most awesome tools in our toolbox, but it can also be so detrimental. So again, weight loss journey, right? I'm on these GLP-1s. I go on the social media, like doom scrolls, and I notice some people just off of 3 months on GLP-1s lost what I lost in a year. It happened so quickly. They look fantastic. And I'm over here like, okay, do I need to change injection site? Do I need to switch up my diet? Do I need to go keto? Do I just need to go low carb? Do I need to go no carbs at all? Mediterranean, Atkins, like, girl, way too much. And I kept doubting my wins, the pounds, the inches I've lost. And I am a big boned girl. And I have confirmed this with my doctor. So it's not like South Park Cartman, like, I'm just big bone. Like, no, I'm legitimately big boned. I have a high bone density. I've got that on my medical record, okay? Sharing a little HIPAA information. While I was doubting the pounds, the inches I've lost, where I was at mentally, I was so much better. Like, yes, the GLP-1s were helping me, but I was also meeting my goals, sticking to a healthy lifestyle, balanced diet, which, included McDonald's, but making the smarter choices in my fast food, making the smarter choices with my desserts. And, we still snacked, we still did the naughty things, but it was so hard when I started to compare myself and then I started to doubt what I was doing, where my journey was going, and what was happening. Luckily, I can communicate with my doctors, and he was also like, no, you're average. And also, you already know, girl, what we see on social media is edited, filtered, cropped, zipped. How many times have we watched celebrities get busted when they're like, oh, they used AI or they cinched here and this is just a filter? So I always go back to that. While I doubted myself in these times, I have to realize it's real and it's a lot of work. And not everybody is going to support that hard work. Not everybody is going to understand the struggle. So you really, really have to dig down to your roots, be grounded, and clap for yourself because not everybody is going to support you. I got a lot of backlash. You're on a GLP-1? You're taking shots to lose weight? That's cheating. That's not realistic. You're spending money on something you can do for free. And let me tell you, as somebody who's been dieting, crash dieting, probably eating disorder somewhere in there, boys, girls, y'all are doing fantastic because the pressures y'all have and the examples y'all have are insane. And yeah, not everybody's going to support your decisions to live your life the way you want to. So we have to learn emotionally how to handle this type of non-support. Haters, okay? We have to learn how to tune out the haters, tune out the disbelievers, tune out the jealous people. And I don't like to think people are jealous of me at all because there's nothing super exciting about my life besides the fact that I'm just like here living it. But really getting to the point where, you know what? I lost 10 pounds this month. And that's amazing. And not only did I lose 10 pounds, I lost several inches. Like I lost inches before I lost weight on the scale. And again, being a big boned person, I love to do, and during this journey, I found that I like really loved hit interval, like high intensity interval workouts. I don't know why, it just worked for me. Like doing burpees for 30 seconds mentally doesn't mean a big deal to me when I break it down into like those 30-second intervals. Or I'm switching burpees with squats and it's not bad. So I figured out that that works for me. I really learned how to ground myself and find what works for me, what works for my body. But then I realized every time I would look more muscular and gain more muscle, girl, the numbers on the scale went up. And at first, I would get really discouraged and really sad. But then I'd kind of look in the mirror and be like, okay, shape, okay, hourglass, right? Body's starting to look T. And it's starting to be my cup of tea, not anybody else's cup of tea, but what realistically a mom of 3 with tiger stripes, aka stretch marks, with tiger stripes would like. And it had nothing to do with what my husband liked, what kind of role model I wanted to be for my kids, because I do want to be a healthy female, real role model for what a real body looks like after having 3 children for my daughters. But, I did have some people that just said some stuff, and it was really hard, and I really had to take time to, number one, acknowledge what they were saying, because I don't want you to feel like your words don't matter to me, because words do matter no matter what you say. So I really want to be in this conversation. And when it comes to people not supporting my decisions to take a GLP-1, I think something I like to do, especially in those conversations when people are like, you're taking medication when it could just be done for free. Well, why do you feel that way? Why wouldn't you support me medically trying something out that could help me meet my goals? It's almost like using, like a cheat sheet or like a review for a test. Why would I not study? Why would I not try to give myself the best opportunities? And I found that in the communication that maybe they weren't just not supporting me, but maybe didn't understand. So that was kind of cool to be able to like have dialogue and understand somebody else's point of view, and for that person to see my point of view, to learn that it really has taken me like decades to find something that helped me and also contributed to like so many other factors, like my skin was better, mood changes were better. So like those GLP-1s were doing something else for me besides just losing weight. And yeah, they may still not have supported me, but they understood me. And so emotionally, that really helped me feel better about my victories and my wins. My victories. It's a win victory. It's a victory. So that really helped me feel better. And that was like a little clap for myself, girl, because I helped somebody understand what was going on with me. So realize not everybody is going to support you, and you need to be okay with that. But you also need to be okay with the decisions you are making. Don't stray away from the path that you chose to walk down. Don't doubt it. Walk in faith in yourself, in your higher power, and whatever you choose to believe in, just believe in it and keep going. Don't stop. Don't let a few speed bumps, potholes, the crib's too high. Keep going. Keep reaching for that, end of the crib that's high. Keep trying to stand up. Keep fighting for yourself. And if you're feeling misunderstood, talk it out. Journal it out. Find a healthy outlet to maybe let people know your side of the story. Maybe it's podcasting like me. I don't know, but you have to do it and you have to clap for yourself. I cannot say that any louder. If you're feeling misunderstood, help people understand. Nobody is going to understand without you explaining it or showing it or sharing it. And again, with social media and things like that, we don't always see the real. So we need to get back to sharing the real. It's not going to look pretty every time, and not everybody's going to clap for you all the time. Especially for people like me, I don't like to clap for myself all the time. So even when I don't understand my own actions, what I'm doing, I've spent way too many hours on my phone instead of doing this said action. I've spent way too many hours watching Game of Thrones and not actually doing laundry. Communicate with myself. Why do I feel like I spent so much time? Maybe I did need that little brain break. Maybe I did need to actually doom scroll. And maybe I was meant to see all those things that made me self-doubt, to realize I am stronger than what I am telling myself. I am stronger than the haters. I am better every single day. I fight myself in that mirror every single day. So when I don't understand what's going on with my body, with my mental health, I'm going to journal it. I'm going to jot it down. I'm going to podcast about it and let you know that I'm not a guru, that I'm a real person like you going through it, because it is a struggle. But when I go back and look at those journals, listen to older episodes, and realize the speed bumps I've crossed over, I might have messed up my shocks a bit, but I made it over those speed bumps. I might have dodged a few potholes here and there, but I also may have bent a rim or two as well. It's okay. I understood where I was then and where I am now. I love to see that moment, and I love to see all the seasons of myself, of the change, the leaves changing colors, my waist going up 2 inches, down 4 inches, to where I am now, to loving myself. I still get up every morning and choose myself anyways. I kept going without support, whether that was from family, friends. I showed up for myself. And that was one of the hardest things for me to, and still really hard for me to sit here and talk to you about, is choosing myself. Some mornings I let my kids go to school a hot mess because I chose to do a little bit longer of an extra workout. But you know what? She showed up for herself too. She picked out her own outfit. She was really feeling herself. This morning, my daughter put on 2 pairs of pants, Bermuda shorts with joggers. And I did have to tell her no, that was enough. But you know what? She picked out her own jewelry that didn't match the soccer outfit she wore because today was karaoke day and she wanted to dress up like a girl from Cat's Eye. Anyways, tangent. But she kept going without my support. She did take off those second pair of Bermuda shorts over her joggers. But you know what? She still felt herself at the end of the day. And I love that she communicated that she did feel confident anyways. Even if I told her earrings didn't match her outfit, whatever. I did not support her choices this morning. But you know what? She clapped for herself anyways and felt amazing. And I clapped for myself because I got my workout done. I chose myself instead of helping her pick out her outfit and having this total meltdown in the morning. We each validated ourselves. We each said, this is enough for me today. We chose ourselves with a little bit of help, It's all about nurturing yourself. Now, again, I'm trying to be inclusive because some of us listeners are moms. Some of us aren't. Some of us are, pet parents. Some of us are dads. Some of us are healing from our moms. Hey, I am definitely one of those, okay? Healing from what we've learned from our mothers. And some are learning how to mother themselves. What would it look like to nurture yourself the way you show up for everyone else? But what would it look like to truly nurture yourself in the way you showed up for everyone else. If you had to rest without the guilt, you hype everybody else up who's on a GLP-1. If you got to just thrive on your GLP-1, if you had to rest, if you took 3 weeks to do laundry, but you're always hyping somebody else up about them doing their laundry, you know what I mean? If we encouraged instead of criticized, if we started celebrating small wins, why do we always have to celebrate the big ones? Why do we always celebrate the fact that you ran a 5K, but not the fact that you walked? Isn't that funny? I know I've definitely done that. And I've seen people like self-sabotage. And if you're one of my listeners who did this, it took her like an hour to run. And in my head, I was like, girl, you ran a marathon in an hour. And I can't remember. I think it was close to a 10K, she said. So if you're listening and this is your scenario, I'm sorry for using it, but this really had me thinking in the moment when you said it. And I was hyping her up. Girl, it takes me 20-ish minutes to run/walk a mile. 20 minutes, 4 laps around the track. Takes your girl about 20 minutes, okay? Before that, before like I was actually starting to do my 20 minutes a day, before that it took me 30. Before that, longer. Like 35 minutes, I think, was the last time I timed it. And now I'm down to 20. That's great. Okay? I lost 10 minutes there. I'm happy about it. And I'm still working on it. Like my daughter runs like a 1 minute, 10-second mile, which is awesome. So my goal is to one day be somewhere close to that instead of, I don't know, a 5-minute 100 meter. I'm trying to math here, but I'm not a math genius. So when she said that she ran this 10K in under an hour, a little over an hour, and it wasn't her best time. Usually she's under an hour. I thought, damn, it takes me an hour to run a 5K. So of course, I'm going to celebrate that win, the fact that it took her an hour, because I could never, at least not at this season in my life, it's not happening. I'm just trying to get, under a 15-minute mile, under a 10-minute mile. I'm trying to get under a 10-minute mile. And that has taken some time. So her story really got me thinking. And I mean, she was a little tough on herself, but there were weather conditions. She said it was raining. There were puddles. Your feet are soaked. And I don't know if you've ever ran in like soaking wet shoes and socks, but that adds extra weight. The like cloud shoes now feel like cement shoes. And you were on the struggle bus a bit. So I almost thought, and I might have said it out loud to her, why don't you give yourself a little grace? Like, that's amazing. You still did great. And her body was going to feel it the next few days. I saw her struggling the next few days. But you know what? She showed up that morning and said, I am going to do this 10K or whatever marathon. I am going to do it. And she did it for herself. I think she said it was like an annual thing she does. And I love that. While she may not have at that time clapped for herself, I was glad I was the one doing it for her. And other people joined in too and clapped, and that was great. I'm here for that camaraderie. But what if we always encouraged people instead of criticized? I couldn't even imagine. I'm not that type. I think I have criticized. Okay, I take that back. I've definitely criticized. Okay, if you know me, I'm sure I've criticized your stuff at some point in time, your decisions, whatever. And I'm sorry. Take this as my apology. A bit cringy, but I think if there were scenarios where I encouraged a little bit more instead of criticized, it would have made a world of difference, especially to that other person on the other end of this feeling. Celebrate the small wins. You showed up, you woke up, you ran that marathon. Now, here's a little bit. We tend to do things, right? Like the marathons, we don't clap for ourselves. So, Mel G, what are practical ways we can clap for ourselves in moments? And these are actionable things. This is your homework. I need you to go and do this. Finish something hard, acknowledge it. You ran a 10K, acknowledge that. You ran a mile without stopping to walk, acknowledge it. Did it take you 35 minutes? Yeah, but you jogged it. Acknowledge that. It was something hard for you. So I think step 1, acknowledging the fact that you did something hard. Okay, so we had a little bit of an interruption, but now back to what I was saying about how we can make clapping for yourselves a little bit more actionable, but realistic. Again, what I said earlier, if you finish something hard, acknowledge it. Now, here's another thing. Set a boundary. Now, this counts. Make sure you set a boundary to not let your own emotions get in the way, not let your ego get in the way, not let what other people say to you get in the way. Set boundaries for yourself. If you know this group chat is way too toxic for you to be in, get out of the group chat. That's okay. If nobody is clapping for you or holding a seat for you in that group chat, haul ass out of there. Get out of that chat. Set that boundary for yourself. If you know doom scrolling is going to make you doubt your wins, set a boundary. Put a time limit on that app. If that app is even telling you, hey girl, hey, you've been on here too long, get off the app. Shut it down. If you know the texts are too much and you're in your own head about things, go on Do Not Disturb for an hour. Journal something, do something a little bit more healthy, a little bit more productive to your goals that make you want to clap for yourself. And if you showed up, even if you didn't feel like it, that is a win. You woke up, you ran that marathon in the rain, potholes, muddy puddles. You kept going. Not every win needs a highlight reel. Some wins just need a moment of honesty. Like, that was hard and I still did it. Make sure you are showing up for yourself and you are clapping for yourself every day. You don't need a cheering section. You don't need approval to grow. And quiet consistency will outwin loud validation every single time. Me showing up every day recording. Me choosing 20 minutes every morning to work on myself, to be physically active. I don't need somebody to cheer me on. I don't need your approval to keep growing. I will quietly and consistently keep doing what I need to do, even if that outside validation isn't loud. Even if I don't have the streamers, even if I don't have the streams or the listeners or the followers, I'm showing up for myself every week-ish on this podcast. And even if I miss a day or two, a week or two, a month or two, I'm still showing up. You can be proud of yourself and still be in progress. So, this week, I want you to try something different. Clap for yourself. Not online, not for show, just for you. Because blooming isn't always loud, but it is intentional. And around here, we don't wait for permission to thrive. We do it low-key. Now, if this episode resonated with you, I want you to do one thing this week. Pause and acknowledge yourself. Not for the big flashy moments, but for the small, consistent ones. The days you showed up when it was hard. The moments you chose growth over comfort. The times you kept going even when nobody noticed. That counts. You count. And if you feel comfortable, share this episode with somebody who might need that reminder too. Because sometimes we're all just trying to bloom in spaces that don't always clap for us. Thank you for spending this time with me on Low Key Thriving, a space where we're learning how to grow through what we go through. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Without needing the world to validate it. So let me say that again. On Low Key Thriving, this is a space where we are learning how to grow through what we go through without needing the world to validate it. Remember, you don't need a spotlight to be proud of who you're becoming. Keep showing up and keep choosing yourself and keep thriving, like low key. I'll talk to you next time. If this conversation met you where you are, stay with me. New episodes every week on Low Key Thriving. If this felt like something someone else might need, send it their way. Take what you need and leave the rest. And remember, keep it light and low key, thrive.